I'm not sure how many international Chrome users are familiar with this screen, but chances are, if you live in Australia, especially suburban Australia, you've seen it a fair bit. This cute little dinosaur is what appears when you fail to connect to a website due to network connectivity issues usually caused by having really shitty internet. You see, down here in the land down under, which is where the Grim and Grin studios are based, the internet just half the time doesn't work at all. And the other half, it only almost works.
To really hammer on the point, this is the frame rate I was facing playing Robocraft last night. It's not always this bad, but it unfortunately often is.
It is often so bad that it's now actually slower than before we upgraded from dial-up. And before you tell us to upgrade again, we're actually connected to the fastest internet available in our area. So suffice to say, we here at Grim and Grin Studios see this cute little dinosaur constantly. However, it was only recently made known to me that not unlike the Transformers, this cute little dinosaur is more than meets the eye.
And it all begins with the pressing of a spacebar. So this is Dino Jump. That's not actually what it's called, well, it might be. It doesn't seem to have a name anywhere, but it's a dinosaur that's jumping. So I'm going to call it Dino Jump, because it seems like a pretty intuitive and self-explanatory name. It also just simply rolls off the tongue a little bit better than network connectivity era T-Rex Rampage does. And I suppose it's not even technically a rampage because he's just going for a run. But I digress. This is Dino Jump. It's a nice and simple arcade-style game that Google has been nice enough to give us as a little bit of an Easter egg. Not unlike many retro games or phone games, Dino Jump simply requires the pressing of one button, the spacebar. And once more, quite a lot like games you would find on the Atari 2600, the goal is to simply last as long as you can as your score racks up, and as you do, the game speeds up and gets more difficult. It's a very simple reflex-style game, and because of that, it's highly addictive. The game starts out rather easily as it's slow and you simply have to jump cactuses and cacti. Every 100 points the game beeps and speeds up a little bit, and as it goes on you also have to start dodging pterodactyls that come at you at 3 different heights, one of which you have to not jump and the other 2 you do have to jump. And of course, like all reflex-based games, the real difficulty is being able to keep up with the game as it increases its speed. Once you get to the 1000 point, it gets very tiring to track your objects because the background also sort of starts to confuse you. It's kind of hard to explain if you haven't actually played it, but when you play it you'll get what I mean. This is of course not a negative, but simply part of the reflex-based games genre. It's all part of the difficulty. You get the same sort of thing in Robot Unicorn Attack, as it adds another level of difficulty because you really have to start to focus. Perhaps the only actual negative in the game is that when your internet comes back, it automatically connects you, loading the page and getting out of Dino Jump, which is really quite a bummer when you're on a roll and getting a high score. This completely simple and not really very original game is so addictive that sometimes, when the internet has come back, and I have been on a roll and really getting into it, I've actually disconnected my internet from the back of the computer just so I can keep playing a little bit more. So really, that's quite a big credit to the game. I think we can all agree that any game that can force a nerd to disconnect the internet to keep playing the game is a pretty damn good one. So there you have it, Dino Jump. A simple but addictive game with simple but cute graphics. So next time you're faced with network connectivity issues and greeted by this cute little dinosaur, perhaps you might consider hitting the spacebar. Thanks for watching. I have been and still am Grim Grindle.